Okay. Yep. Yep. That's right. Yep. Okay. Yep. So this, you just click the database icon on the in the left. Just have a look in there. Okay. Have you managed to have anything saving on from a form yet? Like, got it. What about this? What about you share your app with me, and then I screen share and I edit your app, and you tell me what you want done. So if you go into settings and then go to collaboration on the horizontal bar, and then under invite a user down a bit lower, put in there an email address, wapdat@gmail.com, and invite. And you don't need to worry about it. I'm an agency, so I can get it. It's misleading. So view and edit. So I will stop sharing my screen now, and you stop sharing your screen, and I will take over share my screen. And here we go. One second. Have you got a nice big monitor, or is it like a laptop? Okay, I want to show you. Okay, cool. So you should see what I'm seeing. Is this you, Digital MSK? Is this you? Cool. So there's two ways of creating apps. There's one where you go from page to page to page like you're doing, and sometimes that makes sense. And another way is called a single page app, where basically within an app you show and hide panels. So when I click on login, I don't actually navigate to a different page. I just show different content on the same panel. Okay, it's just a concept. And then second sort of concept is this built-in user. This is a data type built into Bubble. If anyone ever logs in or uses the system, there will be an entry in this table. So you've got a few users in here already. So you must have got some sort of sign up working. So under data, under app data, this shows you what's in the tables basically. So there's nothing in that table. Ones they look like you, like Kirsten Lord, Kirsten J Lord, Kirsten Juliet Lord, all your Gmail accounts. So somewhere along the lines, so these are actually user accounts in your system, So there, and if we just have a look at this one, you can see this is a user, and on a user you would have things like, are they subscribed? When did they last log in? What treatments are they interested in? When's the next appointment? What are their Stripe payment card details? All of that sort of detail to do with a subscriber. So you could, if I cancel, I've got a problem. I've got lots of sort of windows going. So that's one concept. The next concept is you've got an idea of products in here. So if we what I'm going to do is how about we just make a really quick sample page of where we view products and add products. Is that, no? What? Okay. Well, what about I'm just trying. What do you tell me? What's a simple example we could get working? That. Okay. Cool. Right. Brilliant. Okay. Cool. So, my suggestion is if I just show you, get this working, so you can save these details, then you'll be able to copy that approach for other pages. Yeah? So. Which is the so where is the page? If I was a patient, how would I sort of initially sign up? Is there a page in here for like the initial sign up? Yeah. Okay, cool. Alright. That's alright. We'll get it working probably in the next few minutes. Okay, so you've got these buttons and they don't really do anything. So, yep. Yeah, so how would you mind if we just, in the interest of time to get something working, how about I just, because when I just looked at it now, I just went preview, if I go sign up, I'd expect to see a form which says, what is your username? Well, give me a username, give you a password, and that's what I expect to see. It's all right, it's all right. So you sort of know how easy it is to get things working. So I'm just going to drag a group onto here. You can delete all this stuff later. And I'm just going to make it have a background so I can see it, and you can see what I mean, see the ugly bits. So I'm going to put 2 fields on here. I'll make this a column. I'll make this fit with the content. So this is going to be the user email, and I'll make that an email, and then I'll make another input field. So this is just going to be the world's simplest sign up you've ever seen in your life. You could, but if you don't understand how this works, you'll probably never get the component working. Yeah, but you're absolutely right. You could go and grab one in here, but you're still, I'm going to make the simplest example possible that actually works, and then I think you'll be able to pull that to bits and go sign up. So this could be in a pop-up, or it could be on the page, but this is my sign-up form, and when I click on this button, sign up, this is called the workflow bit. So on this, I'm putting a sort of behavior behind this button, and when this button is clicked, on the account, I'm going to sign the user up, and it has this. So, okay, all right, it's okay. I'll go a bit fast. I'll go a bit faster then. Okay, and then once they're signed up, where do they go to? Like in this list. Search your options, cool. Right, so let's preview that. So here's this ugly form I've added, and in the database here, these are the users. So in this data tab, under users, under application data, I can see there are 3 users in the system. I'm going to actually sign up now. I'm going to sign up as Lindsay. And I'm going to make my password. So now when I click sign up, I've now gone into surgery options. So that what has happened under the covers is when I click there, it went to here, it went to there, it put the email address in there, put the password in there, and then it went to go to surgery options. And if I look in here, you can see at the top now the latest user in the system is this one here, and I spelled my email address wrong. So I've added a user onto this. That is the world's simplest sign up, and you could get a component that would be much more elaborate, but I think that just kind of you can see how simple that is, and there's a lot more you could do to make it more fancy, but that's good enough for now. Good enough. And then what was it? Surgery options. So then we go to the page surgery options, and what I'm going to do is just to prove we're signed in. I'm just going to make a group down here. Just put a group down here. And I'll just make it a colour so you can see the ugly stuff I've added. So just to prove that we're signed in, so this is how I can put dynamic values onto the page. So I dragged on that text field and it defaults to edit me, and I'm going to put the current user's email. So just to prove that's working, I'm going to refresh that page, and you can see that I'm not signed in because you can see here it says Lindsay no code at tech. So what? Yeah, you can, yeah. Yep. Totally. It is okay, but in order to save something, you want to save it against a user. So we needed a user in the system to save it. So if we then go to, I want to put a button in here. What is the page? What was that? Surgery options. But what there was that? Sorry, there was another page where you wanted to save. There was like six grids. There was a grid of something, 6 something. Condition 1. Okay. So we'll go to condition 1, and on this button. Yep. Sure. Sure. Kirsten, I'm not trying to make your final app. I'm trying to make a sort of enough of a working demonstration for you to get the concept so you can do it yourself. I can do it all, but that's be slow. So let's just try. I think we've logged in. We've got a user in the system, and now we want to capture their search, that form that you showed me. So I'll just, and I know it's all ugly and I know it's not what you want, but we've gone to here and we're going to navigate to this page. So we know that I'm logged in and I want to capture for this user, am I male or female, right? So so on surgery options, condition one. So here's your form, and let's start with the easiest. We're going to do the easiest, simplest possible thing, but just so you get the concept. So these. Let's talk about this. When did your problem begin? So on my so you would, so if let's say let's add a button down here called next page. And I know it's not called next page, it's condition 2, I guess, but imagine and what I want to do is I want to say, when I click this button, what I want Bubble to do is I want to check that all of these values have been set in the database as we expect them. So I'm going to, let's just do something like that right now. So this is called a toggle, and this is a nice way to do it, but it's a little more complicated than a checkbox, because a checkbox has a state yes or no that you want to. So on that user, so on my user data type, I want to put gender, I guess. Why am I doing everything in caps? Gender. Fine, sex at birth. Cool, that's cool. Sex at birth. The drop down list. Sex at birth. What do you mean? I'm sorry. What did you mean by on the drop down list? Got an option set. Here we go. You've got these option sets. Brilliant. Cool. So these are the option sets, which are good for storing public, static, constant things. Okay. So cool. You've got this. So this. Okay. So right. So okay. So cool. So now you've got this user, and we want to create a condition history for them. So what we'll do is in our login, in our sign up page, when we sign up, as well as signing user up, we will create a new thing called a condition history, and we'll set we're going to add a. Do you call your users patients or users, or what do you call them? Does user make sense? Yep. So we're going to create a condition history. When a user signs up, we're going to create a condition history, and that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to to this index page, and I know you don't, this is not what you would have a separate logout, but just so we can get this app basically working, I'm going to log the user up. So if I go back to my, so I'm hoping that what I'm trying to lead up to is explaining how you can have a form like this, which saves the data into a table like this. And this entry in this table is linked to this user who's signed in. I'm just doing all the building blocks in the hackiest, dirtiest way, but enough so you can see how that hangs together. That's what I'm hoping to do. Are you cool? Cool. And what we will also do is on a user, we'll create a new field called condition history. Condition history. And it's ever so easy to go and change these later. And then this is going to have a type of condition history, so you can sort of see how we've linked a user to a condition history. And the same. Yeah, so this, when we log in on the index page, this sign up on this button, which is just here, we sign the user up, we create a condition history, we're going to alter the user. So this what I'm doing now is a really common pattern of building up the workflows of this. So then the result of step 2. So this says sign the user up with an email password, create a condition history for this new user. For the user in the database, attach to them this condition history, and then we're all done. Go to surgery options. Then we get to surgery options, and then there's a button on here which actually just sends us straight to condition 1. Then we get to condition 1, and now we're almost at the point where so what we can do is when we click this button, so what we can do here, this is not probably good practice, but it's just enough to prove what is going on. So I'm going to double click that. All right, I know it seems a bit long-winded, but I just want to get to something that's working. Make changes to a thing. The thing we're going to change is current users, condition history. We're going to change a field. We're going to say the sex at birth, and we're clicking the female button. Change that to female. I'm going to speed things up by copying this. And on this one here, and I click on the male button, I'm going to say my sex at birth is male. Right, so now that's what we've put in. We put it into the database. We really mean we're making changes. We're making changes to a thing in the database, and we can get hold of the condition history by looking at the current user's condition history, and sex of birth is male. So if I go back to the index page, and I'm going to sign out, log out because I've already logged in, and nothing happens. But if I now go test2@test.com, password, sign up, and we've gone into here and we know we're logged in because it says that's the email. And I come to here, go to condition 2. If I look in the database at, hopefully this is not, so in here in the condition histories, there's one in here, and the user is test.2, which is what we hoped, which is good. And then we go here, and I'm going to click this button, female, and now let's go and have a look in the database. So we'll refresh this data. Why is that not set? 1 second. Privacy. Alright, what's this? Create as current user. So this is good. This is good. And user. User's own data. User can see all their own data, which is good. But it doesn't explain why when I click here, it's not. What's going on? I'm just going to give us a bit of feedback. Going really quick now, so I'm going to show this alert. So when I come back to this page and I click mail, so the button is not clicking the way we think it is. Okay. Yeah, so I put that alert on that page just to prove that the button was being clicked, and it's not appearing, so I know it's not. This is not working. This is not working. Nope, nope. You can, on a free version, you can store up to 200 things in here, and you've got much less. And it also sends you lots of nagging warnings up here to say, you must subscribe. And you've only got a handful of things in the database, which you can see in here, by the way. It tells you how many things you've got in the database. They do a big upsell job on you. Okay, so but this is all very unimpressive until we get it saved. Edition history. Am I signed in as? No, I'm just going to prove that I'm who I think I am. I'm just going to put. I'm just going to put my username on that page so I know that I'm signed in, and I know that. So I'm definitely signed in. But when I click on this, I'm expecting to. Oh, I wonder if there are conditions on these buttons. Yeah. Okay, that's got to go, and that's got to go. Right, that's probably the problem. Right. So I think it was silently. So if I go female, I still didn't see the alert. Yeah, so what you would do is I'm going to remove all of that, then I'm going to say when the current user's condition history sex at birth is male, colour, screen, and I'm going to copy that condition and put it on here. There's female. Okay, it's saved. So getting rid of all of those conditions is what I'm saying. This is now, if I press male, this is said saved. This says female, saved. It's just one or the other, because in the way this table is designed is there's one entry for sex at birth. You can't store two. You can only store this field can only fit one of these options. It's unfortunately it just comes off your credit card, so you just need to make me go faster or shut up or so. Yep. 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 What would you do? Yeah. Good question. So I would go. What the way I would do it? There's many ways. Here's my next page button. So we would go So next page is, there's many places you can put conditions. Let's put it here. So only when you click this next page, and there's a condition which is the current user's condition history, sex at birth is not empty, and this is all going to be a bit tedious. There's many ways to do this, but what was the next one on the list? It was side. Problem side is not empty, so we'll just do those two. Then we'll go, we're going to use the same alert, but we'll change the message. Change the alert message. Please complete all the fields. Oops. Please complete all fields. Okay, so when you click on that button and this condition is true, we're saying is empty, or turn this around, is empty, or so said, if the sex of birth is empty or the problem side is empty, then we're going to send the alert, please complete all the fields. So that should just work straight away. So if we go here, so if I click this page, it says please complete all the fields. Okay, that's cool. And I can't go, and obviously there's more logic to this because there's symptoms and when it began, but you would extend that to do that. So but when we go here, I'm going to copy that. I copied that one again. So when sex of birth is not empty, so this is the opposite. Is not empty. Thanks. We'll now send you to the next page for more questions. But obviously you can change that. So yeah, you'll have to add all of these things because you want to test. You want to test all these things. So I'm going to just, in order to get us past this first form, and then I guess you're going to go to condition 2. Condition 2. Right. So if we meet these conditions down at these technical conditions of what's in the database, then we're going to show you the message and we're going to send you the next one. But the problem is we will never get there because we don't have a way of saying left and right at the moment. So we just need to wire these up to do what male and female are doing. So we'll just do that really quickly. So if I go, it's exactly the same pattern. So when this left is clicked, we want to make changes to the thing. The current user's condition history, change a field, problem side equals, and we probably should follow that same pattern we've got of left and right, which is quite a nice way to do it. Yeah, cool. But you did it. This was quite a good way to do it, the sex at birth, and I was just wondering if you just store left and right in here as well. So under condition history. Yes, it's a text. Oh well, let's. So let's. If you have a see gender, well, sex at birth, okay, sex at birth is that. It does make sense. You can only be male or female, I guess, at sex at birth. Controversial, but whatever. And left and right can only be left and right. And so if it was really the case where it can only be the left side or it can only be the right side, I would do exactly what you've done here, and I'd go side, and I'd have left, and I'd have right. So this, whereabouts? Oh, okay, cool. So I want to. Yeah, I'll just finish it off and I'll explain. So now we've created this option set, in the same way you had sex at birth, we've created an option set which is left and right. And then in our data type on our condition history, the problem is our problem side. You can see it's a text, if you can see that. We don't want it to be a text, we want it to be our problem side. So now the only thing that can go in this field is one of the things in this left or right. So if in the future I had center, then I could put center in this list, and I can store. So in my condition history, I could, in the same way. Yeah. Exactly. You would do this. I'll just call this one old. Create a new field. You do this. Symptom spread. Yes, no. So this one here can built into a database. It understands yes. It understands true, false, yes, no. So that's just yes or no. We wouldn't store the word yes and we wouldn't store the word no. We just store sort of true, false. For yes, no options, yeah. I would personally, I think this form design is good because it's got this is more complicated to implement because I've gone and behind each of these I've had to put set this to left, set this to right, set this to yes, set this to no. From a user interface design perspective, I think that's really good because it's so simple. It's got big buttons that people can read. It's really bloody clear exactly which ones I've chosen. I think this is a good user clear design. You could make it very small and itsy bitsy with like this. You can grab some one of these. Yeah. I think the variation makes it inconsistent. I personally think I would do it this way because it's really explicit to the users, really non-complicated. You have to choose one of these. It's very clear what you've chosen. It's a big button. You've got 6. So I want to finish this one off so we can just talk about auto binding because this one will be really simple. So I'll just finish this one off. So on this one, when we click this button, we're going to make changes to medical history. We're going to make the problem side left. And I just quickly copy that. I'm going to copy that and I'm going to edit this one and I'm going to paste it here and I'll make this one right. So it's exactly the same pattern we just did for male, female. We've now done left, right. We're going to do this one. So you can have explicit actions which... Yep. Okay. Yep. Pain. Yep. Okay. I'd agree with that. I think from a usability point of view, you don't need it. You can do it for free. Yeah. Okay, so in here, right, you want to make a drop down. So here's a drop down, chunk, put them over here. choose a level. Static. These are static choices, so we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now this, yeah. So that's, and then so exactly the way we were doing before. This is just going to create a drop down. A drop down. It won't be as beautiful as this one, but it's going to be one that users are familiar with and understand. So, and we want to say I would suggest you could, and maybe in a month's time you'll be expert at Bubble and you'll be able to build this component. But for now, I think it's just build something that is good enough and gets you something that actually works. So drop down, I've done that. For the drop down, we've already implemented a drop down of 1 to 5, and we're done. This will take another bunch, maybe 10 minutes to build this component. Okay, so that sorts that one out. Yeah. Okay, cool. I can't see your medical. This medical history here. Is this the one? Yep. Okay, cool. Yeah. Okay. 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 So I'm getting a picture now of how your app works. What I would, so on this user, we've got a condition history, and I guess this is medical history. So on this user, I think we also want to have a medical history, and just follow the same pattern of gathering together the information and storing it on this user's. Oh, you have. No, you haven't. I did. Yeah, there's a type. You've created the type medical. Yep, got with this. So, no, these are types. These data types are types. And what I've done is I've said a user, which is a type, which represents people signed in. We added to them a condition history, and on that condition history we're building sex at birth, blah blah blah. And on medical history we'd add these things. Probably, yeah. I guess when you're making a decision, when you're doing this, you're making a decision. You say, I've got to store sex at birth. I've got to store sex at birth. I could store it on the user. I could say a user has a sex at birth. I'm going to put it on this field. And you see some people, and they wouldn't have a condition history or a medical history. They just have a really long. All of those entries are on here, so they put them on here. It doesn't really. What do you mean by file? Yep. Yeah, so we have to find, when I log in, when a user signs in, we have to be able to figure out which of the rows in this table, is the app going to edit to save these decisions, male, female, blah, etc. The decision would be along the lines of if there's ever if there was ever the case where I had multiple medical histories, I mean that doesn't make any sense, but maybe a condition history. Maybe I have 2 conditions and I want to keep 2 condition histories, one for my asthma, one for my hip problems. So maybe if I have 2 conditions, then I would do this, because then I'd have 2 entries in the condition history and say, well, which condition history do you want to update? The hip one or the asthma one? I don't know. Yep. We're not. Yep. This is not doubled up. All this does is link these together. This condition history here is basically just a link. It's just a link to. You can imagine these are like tabs of a spreadsheet, and these are like columns. And when I say this user, and this is kind of this user here, test 2, you can actually see it in here. They have a condition history which has that ID. So this is how they link. This is how the database links them together. And so this condition history, if I have a look in here, that ID there is what links that condition. That row in there is linked to this user here, to the other types by this. So when the decision to say, is it okay, it would be right as long as there's only one sex at birth, and there is only one sex at birth. You could actually put the sex at birth on the user, because there is one user, and one user has one sex at birth, and that's cool. That's the way it is. But no, just one or the other. Definitely just do one or the other. It's fine. You can put sex at birth here, and we link the condition history to the user, and that's what you've done. That's totally fine. We could have added a field on here, condition history, sex at birth. Could do that. We could have done that, and that is. I'm going to do it, and then I'm going to delete it. That is completely fine. That's not right. It's neither right nor wrong. That doing the way you've done it is not right or wrong. It doesn't really matter. And the only decision would be the way you've done it is good. Is if you wanted to have a version of medical history. So on January you told me your medical history, and then in December I look again and you tell me your medical history, and I want to be able to compare the two January to December. Then you would need this design to be able to do that, because this design where we just store sex at birth one time against the user, because then in condition history we'd have a field in here, date of assessment. Yep. Well, this database design would support that. Yeah. Yeah, like. Yeah, medical history one, yeah. Okay. Okay, so you want to link this to medical history. So the way you do that, so you want to make this look like a button that is clicking. So you could do that by. So when you click here, you want it to go to that page. Is that what you're saying? Okay, cool. So you already kind of understand a bit of UI. So you want to make sure this looks like something that people know to click. It's, we've all been on that website where you're going, what do I do now? So you need to make this look like a button. You can do that. And you go add a workflow. By toggle, do you mean when you click here you see some other content? Oh, okay, cool, right, yeah, okay, cool, I'll show you, let's just do that. We'll just do one, just so you can, and we'll, I think, yeah, you can, the free ones, you can download the free ones. Let's choose Renato's, yeah. It doesn't really matter. So I've chosen this one. I've chosen that one. I don't know why I chose that one. It doesn't really matter. And then I'm going to, here's the toggle. So this is us using a component. Yep. So in your medical history, we need to store a yes/no value. So in this medical history, so this is, I guess this. Do you have your recent problems? That's a question. I'll do that question. So under my medical history, I'm going to go into the database, and under medical history, I'm going to make a new field called the question. Do you have bladder problems? Yes or no? Okay. So when in the sort of same pattern as we used before, when I click on that and I show it's, what I'm going to do when I click on that, tell you what, we'll do it straight away. We're going to edit. We're not going to go to a page. No. That is, yeah. Cool. So current user, medical history, change the field, question equals, it's going to seem really tricksy, but it's a really good way to do it. Oops. I know this is, so when this medical history, medical history, sorry, let's clear all that up. When this medical history, sorry, I need to clear that up, When this medical history question is, I'll do it the simple way, is yes, only when current user, medical history is no. So this is how you build toggles. So I've said when you click on that question and your question to answer was previously no, we change it to yes. When I click on that question and your previous answer is yes, then well, it was, yeah, exactly. But also I want to save the fact that I answered the question as well. So when it's no, we set it to yes, and when it's yes, we set it to no, and then you wanted to navigate to another page called, I can't recall, sorry, just remind me, medical history 2. Cool, so that's, and then back on here, I'm just going to make this look like a button. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it a border, and just enough, and I'll just make it look like a little bit like a button, and then condition. Follow the same pattern. Current user's medical history. Current users medical history. Current users medical histories question is no. I'm going to background style. Yeah, I'll just become obvious in a second. Okay. Okay, I'm going to get rid of that then. Okay, so when you click on this, when it's yes, it changes it. When it's yes, it changes it to no. It goes to medical history 2. When it's no, it changes it to yes and goes to medical history 3. Yeah. So that's. It's pretty much what it's doing, yeah, and it's saving the fact of that answer against this field in here. So the problem is going to be that when we create our users, and here's our sign up flow, we need to not only do we need to create a new condition history, we need to create a medical history as well. So create a new thing so that medical history, make changes to current users, and I want to add a medical history equals the result of step 3, and create a new medical history. We're going to set a field on here called the user, which is a user, and the user is a current user. So we've used this exact same pattern. When the user signs up, we're going to create an entry in there, link them onto the user here and here, so that when we come to the pages down the road, when we come to these down the road, we can save them. So if I just prove that, hopefully you're seeing a sort of pattern emerging of of techniques so that you can move yourself on to the next. So I've logged out, and I'm going to log in again as test 3. I'm going to make it password, but it doesn't really matter. So I'm going to sign up. Sends me to here. I'm going to condition 1. I'm going to make female left. I need to wire up those to save. And then we go to the next page. We need to complete all the fields. So, did your problems? Then we've come here. So, the sort of pattern we're making is when we click on a button, we save the state into the database using these approaches, like here. And I'm just going to. And the problem is this didn't work, so I'm going to remove all of these, and when the current user's condition history problem side is left, this colour is green. I'm going to copy that condition because it's nearly the same. Get rid of these. Is right. So we come back to here. So we go here, left. So now we've saved this. So when we go to here now, we need to stop that alert coming up. But we're building, but it's just going to get repetitive now because it's just basically implementing all of these buttons, implementing the sort of next logic, implementing the next logic, like when everything's completed, do the right thing. When it's not completed, do the right thing. And I think the logic in there is wrong. And then I think my logic is, because I think I said, then there's one more thing you can think about in your app is like called breadcrumbs, which is, when you're on a web page and it tells you like how far you are down a road, and you could put this sort of inspect the database. So you could say you could put a field on the user, for example, which you could put has completed medical history, yes, no. So at the point you realise they've completed the medical history, you could store on that user the fact they've completed it, that we're happy that we've filled all this out. Okay. Yeah, I know. So you tell me to shut up. Okay. Cool. Yep. Okay, I'll show you this other medication. Give us another hint of where it is. Physio option. Got it. Okay, cool. So now you need. Right. So when I click. So what I want to do is I'm going to put a multi-line field in here. I'm just going to put it over here because it's stupid and ugly, but you can sort that out. So when I'm going to make this, I'm going to not visible on page load. So this is it's not visible on page load. And when I click this yes button, I'm going to element actions show multi-line A. So when I click yes, I want to save the answer into the database like we've been doing. You'd need to implement. You need to say set, all of that stuff we've been doing. So when I click here, see how that pops up? Oh, okay. Well, let's just, you know what I mean. So we'll just get rid of that. We'll put that there. Oops. Yeah. Cool. So this is another. I'll put it in there. So I can put some word in there, and then so under this one I'm going to say I'm just going to hide. In fact, I'm going to do. There's a smarter way to do it is toggle. So if it's off, turn it on, and if it's on, turn it off. So that way I don't have to memorize I don't have to get the logic right. I just know that these will. So if I come back to this page now, yes, no. You do, but I think you've got enough concepts to get a much further along. So, yeah, well, I won't. Okay. Anyway, that's cool. I hope that was good for you. I hope you can get much further, and It keeps going. Anyway, I'll shut up and turn the call off, and then you stop paying. Cheers. Bye. Oh.